We start our alphabet sampler with a stitch called Woven Oval. Here we are. It's the one I made in my first sample of this pattern. As you can see, I used 2 different colors. You don't have to do that. It looks just as nice with just one color. You can use it scattered, as I have done in the pattern here, or you can use it to make patterns like I did in this sampler. You could also line it up and make sort of proper repeating patterns if you like. So let's have a go at it. So the stitch is made up of 2 short straight stitches across from each other, and then there's an oval shape, but you don't have to draw that, and in fact you don't have to draw the lines either if you don't want to. So you come up from the back and make 1 short stitch, and then you come up and make the other short stitch. And then you come up just to one side of one of the stitches. You come up about halfway along. I hope we can see that. Pull the needle through. You might want to turn the work. And then you slide the needle and thread under that first stitch. And then you slide it under the other one. And take care not to pull it too tightly. You want it a little bit loose along the side here. And then you insert the needle in the same spot where you came up to start this loop. Pull it down, and again, don't pull it too tightly. You want the loop to maintain this oval shape. If you wanted the oval to be a bit more, stand out a bit more, you could loop the thread around a second time, but it's not necessary. Right, so let's have a look. I have made a start on the sampler, and as you can see again, they're scattered. And it doesn't really matter if they're exactly the same size or different sizes, and the angle doesn't matter that much either. Let me make another one. I think I can squeeze one in that space here. So make 2 short stitches across from each other, and then I come up just next to the halfway point of one of them, slide the needle under. In this type of situation where you have loads next to each other, just be careful that as you're sliding the needle under that you don't accidentally catch the previous stitches. Slide it under the other one. And I think in this case I am going to slide it under a second time so that it fills out a bit more. Like that. And we can just do another one. Let's see. Let's make one here. Do my 2 stitches. Come up halfway along. Turn it so it's a bit easier for me to get the angle right. Pass the needle under and then under the second stitch. Under the first stitch again and then under the second one, so that I get a double oval as it were, and then I put my needle back down again. So this one, when you have a random pattern like this, it's not always possible to add another stitch even if there is a gap. It would be very tight to, for example, put one in here. And also there's a couple of spots where I think, oh, there's quite a big gap, but it's not big enough for one of the stitches unless it was a really tight stitch. But what I usually do, if the open gap bugs me too much, I'll just come up and do a sneaky little straight stitch. Just so it visually fills in that gap. No one's gonna notice that it's not the same stitch. Like that, and maybe here, because it's feels like quite a big gap, I'll do a tiny little gap, a tiny little stitch even, and then I'll do one next to it, and a swirl up here, just filling in those gaps, because it will annoy me more to have the gaps than to have the little straight stitches. Right, let's just do one more woven circle. One little stitch. And as you can see, I've not drawn these lines. You don't have to. I think most of us can reliably make 2 straight stitches across from each other, I think. If you can hear some funny noises in the background, it's Blake, my dog. He is trying to make a nest in his bed that's right next to me. Right, so come up again, halfway along the first little stitch, passing the needle under, and then under the second one. And again, I'm gonna do a second pass under. I think here I can probably just about make another woven circle. It's gonna be a little bit of a squeeze, but that's fine. I think maybe I'll just do one pass so that it's not as big as the other ones. Right, there we go. So that's the woven circle, first stitch in the bag. The tutorial you have just watched is part of a series of 31 stitch tutorials that I have made to go along with the pattern for this embroidery stitch sampler. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you want to check out the pattern, you can find the link in the description. And whatever you're making, happy stitching.